Good morning everywhere across the world. And this is day 13 of the daily dosage of the ledger of an aspiring speaker. Speaking about ledgers, today's topic is going to be rather leaning towards finance. But just to get us started, you are that student who did extremely well at school. You've just come out with your accounting qualification. It could be whatever qualification it is. And then you have been interviewed and you have aced the interview. Now, what remains is for you to start. Now, the question is, where do you start and what do you do? Many people would assume that the first thing that a finance person has to do is to understand the systems. Could it be SAP? Could it be Oracle? Whatever system it could be. Could it be a financial and planning system? Because they want to get to the nuts and bolts of what is done in finance. I've done the same thing. When I started in my previous position, when I found the organization that did not have any policies and no systems in place, so we had to firstly install the system, map up a chart of accounts, do everything that is finance related, which was very good. That was phenomenal work. I think I could have won an Oscar for that. But story for another day. However, I've noticed that there is something so fundamental that everybody in finance ought to know or ought to do. And that is the understanding of the business. Because forget about all the concepts and principles that you are going to be dealing with on a daily basis. If you don't know why that business exists, if you don't know the value creation process in your business, you can be a good accountant, but you are a good accountant that does not bring any value into the organization. So I say in your first 30 days, because you've signed on the dotted line and you said, I do, and I'm going to do one, two, three. Yes, but for you to do them effectively and so well that nobody can beat you, this is what I'm going to tell you. It's probably not everyone who will ever tell you this, but this is what you need to do. Understand the business model that your organization or your company is in. Try to understand the value chain. Where does the organization earn value or create value? Because the essence of any business it is to create value, whether they create value for its customers or whoever it is, that stakeholder, in how they create value for that stakeholder. That's the fundamental important thing that you need to understand in your first 30 days. For instance, let's assume you'll be working in the accounts receivable section. You know what accounts receivable is all about. But if you don't understand how your creditors interact with the business and why are they paying the services that they are paying, and the nature of the relationships that you expect to have with your creditors, how then with your creditors or debtors, because you've been accounts receivable. Others they put accounts receivables and payables in one area. If you don't know how your creditors interact with the business, how your customers interact with the business, how your suppliers interact with the business, what do they supply you, what are the supply relationships that you have, you are not going to do the right decisions because you don't know how your business earns value. So there is a document that has been done and condensed into a one pager that gives you the insights what a business does. This document is called a business model canvas. A business model canvas, in simple and layman's terms, it is just a document that is going to lay out what the company does in delivering this value proposition, because a company exists to deliver a certain value. And for you to deliver this value to your customers, you need to define who your customers are and what nature of relationships you will have, and through which channels are you going to deliver this value, and identify the customer segments that you want to operate in. These customer segments, for you to be able to service them, you need to identify the key activities. What do you do to satisfy these customers? And what are the key resources that you are going to need? And who are the key partners that you're going to bring on board for you to deliver this value? And everything has got a price. What is the cost structure like for you to be able to deliver this value? And through which revenue streams are you going to earn your value? So the business model canvas, it's a simple one-pager document that condenses everything into one document. It's way better than a business plan. Most businesses, they would think of a business plan, but I'm going to tell you today that a business model canvas actually asks you the critical questions that you need to ask yourself to say this business wants to do 1, 2, 3, but for us to really produce value, how do we do about it? So it's a 9 quadrant pager or summary. On the left, those are the key activities, key partners, key resources. At the center, it is the value proposition, the cost structure, the revenue streams. And on the right, these are the customer relationships, the channels, and customer segments. So when you start your new role in finance, what I'm going to encourage you to do, try it and understand why the business exists, the purpose your function even exists in that organization. Once you understand that, you would know where to look at, you would know where to add value, you would know how to react or treat some certain transactions that are going to happen. Because if you don't know what your business does, something that might look like a revenue, and you have to recognize that revenue in a specific period. In reality, it might need to be recognized over an extended period. I'm not into discussing IFRS yet, but I'm saying understand what your business does before you could account for it. I'll be back with another daily dose of the ledger of an aspiring speaker. And I will be zooming into what goes into the key activities, key resources, key partner value proposition, customer relationship channels, customer segments, revenue streams, and the cost structure in the next episode. Because in the interest of time, I don't want to make it longer. Keep it tuned, subscribe, and let's support each other. Thank you so much. I'm signing out.